right, I don't know what the lag is like, but we're live on YouTube. So it's probably filtering through hopefully in a second. But welcome to Three Skulls Tavern. I'm Matt, your host, and we're back for another episode of Vaesen, the Scandinavian Gothic cozy horror game by Free League. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it other than if you haven't watched in a little while, we finished episode 3 last month, which was the end of our first mystery arc. And we're picking up where we left off with Eric, our GM. So over to you, Eric.
All right. So, where we left off was, sorry, Tony just
Tony's
instantly
just
teleported to a library, and
We are in Vaesen, man.
it's very appropriate. Um, so, where we left off last time was the end of the mystery of the Maid of Dalafjord, with our society leaving after sort of agreeing to let things be as they were. Where we're picking up, it's been a couple months since then, so it's later on in the summer, getting close to autumn now. You've been around the sort of the castle Gillenkreuts in Uppsala, and the news that you've had from Dalafjord has been pretty grim. There was a murder investigation of a local priest. The gendarmes were looking into it. It seems like a lot of the residents have gone, and the church is questioning whether to even send a replacement for what looks like is going to be a ghost town. But where we're picking up, you had received an invitation from a Captain Olivia Larsdotter to investigate a haunting of the ship that she operates, called the Happy Bothnian. It operates outside of
sorry, the happy what?
Bothnian,
Bothnian.
Bothnian.
Mm-hmm.
And it operates out of Stockholm, and it does transits across to Obo. Is that right?
Åbo or Turku,
Obo,
it depends.
in Finland. And so her invitation included tickets to the ship. And so you will be staying in sort of one of the luxury suites on the Happy Bothnian to investigate this haunting. And so it's supposed to leave in a couple of days from Stockholm. You have time to sort of arrange train fares and things like that to get down to Stockholm, and do whatever sort of preparations you need to do for this sea voyage impending. What I will say to save us a little time, because of the way we do this and in shorter 2-hour segments, is that something that you'll have been aware of by like sort of going through your records and your library after hearing about this, is that the main methods the society in the past has used for sort of dealing with ghosts is either destroying whatever item it is that sort of is anchoring them into the world, or resolving this thing that is sort of keeping them from resting, right? Or this aspect of them from resting anyway. You also know that the Happy Bothnian, the ship, has been sailing the route between Stockholm and Obo. Obo? Oh, how should I say this? Sorry, correct me again.
So, in Swedish, it's
Yes.
Åbo, and
Åbo.
in Finnish, it's Turku, which is the modern Finnish one. But yes, just call it Åbo and you're fine.
Obo. Okay, so that's what we're calling it. So it's been going between Stockholm and Åbo for many years and is known for its high status clientele, including diplomats, wealthy merchants, and the petty aristocracy.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Do we have in our records any information regarding murders or any violent action in this boat at any point?
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So if you want to check in on as part of the sort of preparatory phase, and we can go into sort of like an investigation of that. And I guess the question is like, what would you be looking for, like newspapers, or would there be someone maybe you look for to
I would
contact?
say newspapers, probably. We'll go to the several newspapers in Stockholm and try to find, all records.
Mm-hmm.
Just browsing. I guess it would take us quite a long time because we don't know the date. Well, we
Sure.
know when this ship probably started ferrying, I guess, right? So I don't know if it's been doing this for 5, 10 years, 20
Yeah.
years.
Awesome. So we'll get to that. So
Okay.
Amadeo will be working on that. Do others want to sort of help him with that sort of investigation, or do you want to look for like other things?
Certainly. I mean, Hjalmar has been working with the police in Stockholm once upon a time, so he should probably be able to ask about the records.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing. And there are also probably the charter records from the harbor masters in Stockholm. We could look
Good
at.
point.
If there could be anything there. I mean, there's also always the thing with talking with old sailors who's been in the business for a long time and what they know. Problem is, sailors are not exactly the most reliable people when it comes to not telling tall tales about things. So,
Okay.
I was gonna say that Selma would probably go to the harbor to talk to anyone there to gather information.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like maybe you guys leave sort of early, like a couple of days ahead of like you have to arrive in Stockholm to pick up the ship, and start asking around Stockholm itself, kind of like going around the wharves. Hjalmar is checking up with his police contacts, things like that, trying to get more context. Does that sound reasonable?
yeah.
Cool. So as I was describing, the sort of weather it's nice. It's sort of late summer. Everything's incredibly pleasant. You've had like this nice stretch now of sort of warm, sort of sunny days. Like everything, like when you get on the train, this Uppsala almost seems clean in its way, right? Which is odd almost because it does have like this sort of grimy exterior to it in this time in the 19th century, but everything sort of smells good and fresh, and the sun is warm, and it's really sort of a lovely time. The train ride to the south is pretty uneventful. Again, like you just see the sort of beautiful countryside sort of in between. Everything seems tranquil, at peace. And it's during this sort of journey as you're on this train, I'm going to ask all of you, as we had done before, if you want to sort of think about advantages, like things you've been doing on the lead up to leaving from Uppsala or on the train to sort of give yourself an advantage in the mystery, right? If that rings a bell.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
mean,
we have
I feel anything that would. Sorry.
No, go.
I feel that what I would be doing to gain an advantage is something I would do before I leave to go on the boat. That is
Sure.
pulling out my contacts in Stockholm and seeing if I can find anything. So I don't think I would do it in Uppsala.
Yeah. That's totally fair. So this wouldn't necessarily be a clue. I mean, this is sort of like a mechanical advantage on a test, like in the mystery coming, or like a contact that could perhaps come in and help you with something.
This is actually a thing I could do. I write a letter to
Okay.
the commissioner in Stockholm, informing informing him of this investigation, and that's like I'm pulling my contact with him. I knew him back in the day or something like that. So that's
Okay.
something.
All right. That works.
So like we have told them previously that we are going to do this, so that might give us some leeway. Unless it's like, oh, it's big corruption and someone is hiding it instead.
Well, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. How about the rest of you? Any ideas for sort of
I've got one.
before you leave Uppsala or on the train, or even when
Yeah.
you immediately arrive in Stockholm, what you might be doing for an advantage?
I think I'm going to be practicing card and dice tricks, specifically because I probably think that sailors love to gamble, and if I'm gonna want to impress them, or win them over. I think for me the best way to do that is to use some flashy tricks that are likely to impress them, and that's probably going to be card and dice tricks. So I'm gonna just be specifically focusing on getting those down really well. A handful of tricks.
That sounds great. Cool. Amadeo or something? Any ideas?
I was thinking Selma's perhaps has been practicing her skill of listening into people's conversations.
Okay.
Like, that kind of like writer's inspirations, just sit on the bench, pretend to be doing something and just practicing her skill of listening into other people's gossip. Would that work?
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm trying to think something around the kind of potential help for investigation or observation of things that might not be easy to find.
Yeah.
Kind of, but I don't know how to express it in a nice way.
I mean, it could just be, thinking like you're a surgeon, right? And perhaps this is something you've been thinking about a lot more since your sort of last mystery and sort of like, and just that your professional practice, looking for like, even like small like biological details, perhaps I can give you some little advantage, this sort of subtlety. So it's kind of like honed you in to be particularly precise with your attention to detail or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Because I was thinking, maybe if there was a murder or something, then maybe there is still something remaining, like little blood spots or things like this that I could find. Or I'm thinking about this kind of details. So being more observant to something.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
CSI Uppsala. I like it.
So
okay.
I just put observant, maybe, or I don't know. Kind of advantage. Observant to details, something like that.
Exactly. And so like if this advantage seems like it's going to be relevant to like a particular thing, just bring it up and we'll talk about it as we go.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. To arrive in Stockholm and start splitting up to sort of do these things that as you're discussing, and Amadeo is looking into what did we say?
Newspapers, no?
Yeah, newspapers about
this boat,
about things that have happened on the boat, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, let's have our first roll with Amadeo.
That could be investigation.
An investigation roll. Okay.
Perfect. So logic 4, investigation 1. That's 5 dice.
Yeah, and I think you can add some help from Hjalmar, who's kind of looking into the same thing. So you can add another die for that.
I'm gonna say no to that. 6 dice.
All right.
Oh, fun. Bravo.
Well, you can push it and take a condition if you want.
Yeah. Let's push it.
All right. That's it. What condition do you take? Are you feeling?
I think I'm just angry that I couldn't find it. I lost this. I missed this little detail, and I had to go back and repeat all the newspapers and check again, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm just angry with myself.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll go with that. So what you learn is that the previous captain, before Captain Olivia, this guy named Erickson, he, as it was reported in the sort of local papers, committed suicide by walking off the ship, just one night walking off the ship into the sea and drowning. There's sort of like a subtext to it that some of the sailors that were on the ship at the same time had seen 2 floating orbs kind of like hanging like off the bow some distance away, and they thought that was some sort of like evil portent that had brought him to this state. There's this idea like Erickson never would have done that. Like he was a very calm, very stable person. Either way, it was ruled a suicide.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we have. So I can say that this is the only violent or happening in the boat that I can
Yeah,
find.
yeah. That it's the first and most significant story you find
Okay.
about the
Perfect.
ship. That's, yeah.
What was the name of the current captain again?
Olivia, Lars' daughter.
And did she tell us anything about the haunting specifically, or just that she wants us to investigate a haunting?
So her letter didn't have anything about the haunting specifically.
Just that she wanted us to investigate a haunting. So
Exactly.
she did mention a haunting though. Okay.
Yeah, she did not. Yeah,
Okay.
she did not mention
We
specifics.
we're already in Stockholm at this point, so we don't count with our base of operations or anything like that.
Did we
Is there
skip the resources roll or the resources thing?
I think we're going to do that now. Which
Oh,
is
okay.
just
All right,
like
sorry.
setting up
Yeah.
like your initial clues.
Okay.
So you kind of have something to work off of when you're thinking about what sort of resources you want to pick up.
Gotcha.
I think we
I
can do that in
was-
Stockholm just as well.
Sure.
I was gonna ask if there's anything we can do to research about these glowing orbs. Do we have any?
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean you can.
I've got a collection of books, if that
You
helps.
do.
And Stockholm has a lot of libraries, including the Royal Library.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't know if they would have information about Vaesen. Do we know that? Is this a
They probably would have something.
It's like
and you
folklore,
have-
isn't it? So
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably.
okay?
Yeah. So yeah, you can absolutely make a roll, sort of looking into this as, because yeah, you guys have left early, so you have some time before the ship leaves. Expected to be there.
Would this be another investigation roll?
Yeah.
And would my book collection come into play here or not? Since I'm
don't
going
see
to
why
the
not.
library. Oh, okay.
I mean, you can look at both.
So that's a logic roll with my book collection. That would be 5 dice then.
Yep.
Here goes nothing. Woo!
Okay. So about sort of floating lights and Vaesen, like the most obvious thing that comes up is talk of will-o-wisps, which again are thought to be sort of unhappy dead for various reasons in different places, and they can often appear as just a light. Often it's like around marshes and in forests and things like that, and they sort of draw you out to be drowned somewhere, which would seem to be relevant in some way. Out to sea, it's a little bit less common, though those stories probably exist too, and you probably find those.
Right. What did you
Perhaps
say the
some-
name was? Sorry.
Will-o-wisps?
Ah, Will of the Wisps. Actually, we were talking about this today.
Oh, nice.
can I try and go to some sort of is there something? I imagine there's something like East India Trade Company, the kind of Swedish equivalent.
Sure.
And just
See that?
go in there and try and pass myself off. Try and pass myself off as a gentleman.
Yeah.
But I basically want to kind of summon my kind of my upbringing and my bearing to kind of go there and just do a little bit of digging, try and talk to some people about anything I can find out about the previous captain, from the people who are likely to know who owns, like the people who would have like handled the transfer of ownership of the ship from Ericsson over to Olivia,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Excellent. We can definitely do that. In this case, this is sounding like a stealth roll to me because you're sort of trying to blend in,
Okay.
and sort of like be among these people. It's not so much like doing research. So stealth roll.
That's good because I'm very, very good at stealth.
Yeah. Maybe
Alright.
maybe that had some bearing on the decision.
Okay, so that's 7 dice I get a roll,
Yeah.
and I got 2 successes.
Okay, fantastic. So you actually run into some of the former crew of the Happy Bothnian,
Oh,
the
okay.
ones that had served under Ericsson. And they sort of like take you in as like as sort of like this sort of sympathetic person who's like just sort of asking questions, right? I don't know if that's the way you're imagining it, but and what you learn from them, the first thing is that Ericsson didn't own the ship. It's sort of owned by like this other company that's, you know, run by like the sort of like the Stockholm docks, right? The sort of civic institution that's in charge of this, right?
Mhm.
But he was the captain. He had been the captain for a number of years. And after his suicide, a lot of them report sort of unsettling things, nightmares, particularly like when they're sleeping, waking up feeling like they're drowning. And a number of them sort of left the service of the ship to find other work because it was haunted. They didn't want to stay there anymore. Another thing you learn about Olivia herself is that she's young. She had been in the Navy, and she was sort of held in pretty high regard for professionalism, but also she was pretty strict and a disciplinarian. And that she kind of went into this line of work because of like budget cuts in the Navy. So basically, she just didn't have any place to go. And I think in addition to all that, you would also learn that the current crew had been sort of talking about leaving as well because of the same issues, right? These are things that the sailors all sort of talk about together in the sort of bars and things like this, with the stevedores and things down by the docks. And that the one reason that the society was sort of reached out to was to sort of calm the crew.
Okay.
Like that she was doing anything to deal with it, but she doesn't seem to take it very seriously.
Interesting. Okay.
So we could say that she's not affected by these nightmares or whatever they are.
Yeah, but she could be a rationalist, right? She could just be passing it off as just, you know, natural causes or something, you know? Like, she just happens to have a nightmare and it's, you know, as soon as you wake up, the feeling would pass.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just saying to people maybe it's a superstition. There are lots of people who do that, right?
Yeah, so actually, I mean, in this moment, like, let's say that you have this sort of like a hotel room in Stockholm, and you've sort of all reconvened with this information. If you want to have a scene like that and sort of talk this out in character, I think that would make a lot of sense.
Sure.
So this information was brought by Sven. So I would mention, don't you find quite remarkable, Sven, that Olivia doesn't seem to be affected by these nightmares, while everyone else on the ship is? Maybe there is a link there.
I don't know. People of good breeding often learn to control their emotions and learn to, you know, rationalize things. So I just think it's more a case of discipline and good breeding more than anything else. Whereas the crew, you know, they're common sailors. They jump at shadows. They're completely superstitious. So I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying that it's probably easier for someone of good breeding or good self-control to ignore flights of whimsy and to focus on the task at hand.
I see. I laugh. I don't know. Hjalmar? Selma?
I think Hjalmar is muted.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Simon. Simon is in a new house that he moved to since our last episode, so he might be having some...
Is it better
There,
now?
we hear you
It
now.
is.
Yeah, there we go.
You're back.
Okay, good. It was just a little something was whatever. I was being snarky at Sven, but apparently no one heard that.
Nope.
So,
I imagine what you said because I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, I was saying, or maybe they learn how to ignore the truth when it is clearly apparent. But yes, I was saying as well that there might as well be a connection. If the crew is somehow connected to what happened before in some way, or if it strikes out that the crew and not its captain, perhaps, because of some grudge towards the crew, no matter who the crew of the ship actually are.
That's a fair point, actually. I like that observation a lot, Hjalmar.
Because if it is the spirit of the captain that is haunting it, it might be having a grudge against the crew, not the captain. Just a thought.
Well, I would like to point out that we'd have to be careful not to alarm the crew too much because, Captain Olivia might not want us on a ship if we're alarming her crew more than it's already alarmed. She's obviously, hiring us to calm the crew down. So.
Are you saying we should go in there and tell sweet lies, Summer?
I'm saying we should try to solve this, to reach a conclusion without, alerting anyone that there might be Vaesen everywhere, haunting them or watching them all the time or anything like that,
Oh, you say we'll
Yes.
pick through the facts and choose the ones most fitting to the current situation.
I think
Yes.
that's a wise course of action. Absolutely.
But it worries
We don't
me
want
a little
to.
bit.
We don't want to upset the status quo. We don't want to, rock the boat. To use a nautical pun.
I mean, once we're off the ship and we've gathered everything we need and everything is done, we can totally tell these people everything. I mean, once we're off the ship and we no
we
longer need
don't have to.
information.
Well,
If it's a good story, if it's nothing. major,
What
we don't
it
want-
worries me about this is that maybe this Captain Olivia, Lars Potter, wants us to lie to the crew and just to calm them down. Maybe she doesn't even want us to investigate anything.
It's possible. We will see when we arrive and make our own judgments. You cannot
I
make
would-
judgments before you have the facts.
I would say let's not expect Olivia to be much help to us. Let's not count on her. Let's not go up to Olivia and say, "Hey, we need to catch the spirit. Can you give us a hand?"
Fair point.
A pity I don't have time to speak to some of my colleagues. To learn a few tips about, contacting the dead. There's a little knack to such parlor tricks, which might come in handy to convince people, but for next time maybe.
Yeah, better next time.
Contacting the dead is a parlor trick. I can't imagine what a real trick is.
I'll just like wave my hand and there'll be like 5 cards in it. What do you mean like this? I need to do some. I actually need to practice some in real life so I could just like.
That would be awesome.
I'm shit at card tricks though, so it's not gonna happen.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll do like the sort of resources thing now. Assuming you guys don't have anything else. There's just the sounds of gulls and a sweet summer breeze into the window as you start counting your money.
So on the subject of resources, we can keep
Sure.
one thing from the last adventure, right? Or the last
Exactly,
mystery, I
yep.
should say.
That's right.
I wanted to keep the longbow, but I didn't want to take it with us because obviously a longbow on board a ship isn't going to be much use. So is that something I could keep but leave behind in the at the headquarters? Okay.
Castle.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely. And so like there's also the question of the pistol. Who sort of has possession of that?
I'm Hjalmar.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
I
We
bought it.
definitely want a pistol. We definitely want to take
Yeah.
that with us.
So Hjalmar has the pistol, the longbow is left behind. And so and now you can all make a resources roll.
It's a single roll, right?
It's a single roll, one for each of you.
Right. And what's our resources value?
So
On your sheet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
yeah, it
Yeah.
should be on your sheet.
Yeah. 4.
Mine is 5.
Minus
So I roll
5.
5D.
Okay.
And everyone is 5.
All right. I got 1.
Okay.
We can't push it, right?
No, these are not. Yeah, it's not still. All right.
Okay,
So you have a
Ian.
Two
Me
in
and Matt
total.
got one.
Yeah, you have a combined total of 2 resources that you can spend on things. You can also use your capital, like last time, if you want to get anything more expensive than 2.
What is our
Where
current
is our
capital?
Yeah.
So your capital should be, let's see. Actually, I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's see. So if you have it depends on what your resources is. I can share with you.
Oh, it's on the. Yeah, I know where it is. It's in the skills chapter, right? At the end of the skills chapter, where it talks about money.
There's also one in equipment. I'm
Okay.
going to share a little table.
There it is.
I just want to open it on the
Yeah.
stream. What do you know? What page it's on by any chance?
Yeah, of course. It is on page. Where's my PDF?
73.
I have it on. Yeah, so it's on page 73, but on page 77 of the PDF.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Let me just share that very quickly. Okay.
What does the +1 bonus mean?
So that's for when you're making an opposed test to acquire something from someone who doesn't want to sell, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So yeah, basically
So
it's a bonus if you're making a test as a purchase as opposed to using capital.
And that capital is individual for each of us?
That's right.
Yeah, my capital is 3.
I have 3, so that means that a minimum I have 3 with me.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. So we add the. Sorry, we add the. Sorry, we add the 2 that we got for the resources roll to our own individual capital to determine.
Sure.
Or is it 2?
Yeah, I mean,
2 resource in total that can be added to a single capital thing, or like how does that work exactly?
yeah. So basically, it's like you have 2 resources to spend that doesn't dip into your capital. If that makes any more sense. So you can spend the 2 and it doesn't affect your capital at all. Or if you want to make a bigger purchase, or if you didn't have resources rolled, you could still make a purchase, but it comes out of your capital. But that's like your capital for the mystery.
Okay, right.
I would like to, if possible, buy myself a guard dog because I was very much shot last time and I am terrified.
All right.
Would that be reasonable?
I think so. I don't see any reason why not.
Guard.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thelma was very close to dying, and she is very
Right.
scared right now.
What kind of like? Tell me what your dog. What kind of dog is it?
Oh, I don't know what kind of dogs existed over there in that time. What kind of any type
I mean,
of dogs?
It might
My
be some
favorite
sort
type of dog would be a Rottweiler, but I don't know if that's common in that time.
Husky.
They
Maybe.
existed, at least.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a Rottweiler would be
All right, then
sounds
I would
reasonable.
like a Rottweiler named Amethyst.
Okay, a Rottweiler named Amethyst. I love it. Okay.
And of course, I would like to, with my remaining capital, I would like to buy some liquor.
We don't have to worry about Rottweilers. It's apparently one of the oldest dog breeds in the world.
Fantastic. All right. So we have the Rottweiler Amethyst and some more liquor. That works really well.
I'm thinking of a good lantern, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what would be. I don't know if in the book there is something about this.
Uh,
Because I'm guessing we'll have to
see.
walk around in the middle of the night on the boat. So I wonder
yeah. Okay.
if a good
Actually,
lantern.
that's a good bit of information that I didn't give you. Is that the ship is sort of going to be leaving in the sort of kind of like mid-afternoon, late afternoon. The idea is to make the crossing overnight. Most people are sleeping, so that may very well be the case. So there's a hurricane lamp that you can get. It has an availability of 1.
And how much it cost?
Yeah, so 1.
Okay, so hurricane lamp.
Yeah.
Do I need to buy anything with it? And the bonus is 1 or one of it?
It's a 2 bonus. for investigation in darkness and detect sneaky.
Yes.
I am definitely getting myself a notebook and paper because I apparently didn't have that. So, what else could be useful?
Okay. So
Oh, shit.
I use my capital, so whoever wants to use the resources is fine.
I had a fancy disguise last time. Did I purchase that? Do you remember?
I think you just had that. I think that's
Was that
part of
my
character.
character? Okay, so I don't need to buy
Yeah.
that. That's fine. Because that could come in handy. I mean, I probably would try and make sure that I've got some sort of sailor elements in my disguise kit before, like adding it to it before we leave, because I could see that
makes
coming in
sense.
handy.
Yeah.
I might look at buying some poison.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that could be useful.
2 doses of the strong poison for 2. But I might buy more depending on how many resources we've got left. So I can buy 2 doses of strong poison just with 2 resources. It costs 2, and that's my current capital level, I believe, or
Okay.
was it 1?
Yours. I mean,
So
it's
mine might have
not
been
like
1 actually.
you rolled a lot of resource dice. So I feel like yours is probably.
No, but that's not my capital though, right?
No, but they are related.
What's your dice? 4 dice?
4
Matt?
dice. Oh, it's capital 2. I'm financially stable.
That
Sorry.
counts.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm at 2 capital. So yeah, I could just buy that off the bat. But if for 3, I could get 1 dose of extremely strong poison. And
We
I just
still got the 2 resources, right?
exactly. So if somebody else doesn't
Yeah.
need to use the resources for anything, that's possibly the only thing I think I would want to buy. Maybe a second pistol could come in handy. Potentially, I don't know how much they cost though.
2, I think.
4. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that then.
You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. One of these canes that has a hidden blade. That sounds like cool. Cane.
If
Yeah,
we're
like
going
a-
on a ship, maybe a book of maps would be useful. Sea shots and the like.
I can see that.
Mhm.
There is a thing.
There's a map book, yeah, which would cost 2.
Yeah, if you, Tony, you were
getting that
talking
for
about
myself.
having a sort of blade and a cane or something.
Mhm.
I think we can totally do that.
Okay.
And we'll say that's like an availability 2, and I'm happy to do that.
Okay, the price that I use one probably for my. I don't know how much I use for the lamp,
It's just 1.
so I have 2 left.
Yep. So you can cover it.
Okay. So what could be damage? Well, you can tell me later damage and all that.
It's probably the same
Uh,
damage as a quarterstaff and a dagger, which have the same stats, 1 and 1. I would imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly my idea. It's just automatically sort of.
It's
subtle.
hidden, so yeah.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
so it's damage 1, range 1, and bonus 2.
Bonus 1, damage 1. No real range.
No
I mean, it
range.
would be like your close
Yeah,
range.
close range. Very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be working out with a cane.
Yeah. What does it look like?
I don't know. I'm thinking a cane with a little duck. on
Oh,
the-
that's awesome. Okay.
like a little duck coming out, and
Yeah. And so is this one of the ones where like the blade sort of like in like at the bottom, or is it in the handle? Like, is it something you pull out?
so I think I would pull out from the handle, and
Okay.
that's it. And then I
So
have
it's
my
like a
little
dagger inside, which you lock. Great. That's awesome.
duck.
With
Yeah.
a duck at the end. Like,
Yes.
great. I love it.
I was thinking we might need some binoculars. I think that might be reasonable for looking out for things
hurt.
at sea.
It is
Yeah.
true that these orbs were seen sort of out at sea, so perhaps
Do we
having
have
binoculars.
Do we have any
So-
resources?
Yeah,
yet?
so if some of you have got 3 resources, you've been buying things for 2. So if you use one of the resources to get that brings you up to 5, right? You bought something for 2, you're buying that for 2, and that uses 4. So that uses up one of the resources.
I can put away the liquor and get the binoculars.
Okay.
And then if I use the last resources that we got to get 1 dose of extremely strong poison, because if we're going to use poison, I don't think we're going to we hopefully won't need to use it more than once, right?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
You're going to try to poison a ghost?
No, it's not. Absolutely not for the ghost. Absolutely
No,
not
I
for the
know.
ghost.
Oh, look, it's Party Simon again.
Yes. The strobe.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Excellent. So it sounds like we have our thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, on the Monday, you've taken some time acquiring your various pieces, gathering the clues that you have so far. On the Monday, when the ship's bound to arrive, you leave from your hotel again. The weather is completely pleasant and wonderful as you sort of come down the street toward the docks, or at least the docks where the Happy Bothnian is set to depart from. And the Happy Bothnian itself is sort of a long. It kind of looks like a middle of the 19th century sort of steamship. So it's the kind of thing where it looks like a traditional ship in a way, like it still has masts, has a large sort of paddle wheel on one side, but of course also a steam shaft, a steam pipe coming out from behind like the pilot's house, which is the one really bit of superstructure on this. It's kind of like the hull of the ship, and there's like this raised bit of superstructure, which is like the pilot's house. That's all painted white, whereas the hull of it is kind of like just wood colors, really. The paddle wheel itself is a very vibrant red. It looks in good condition. It's sort of well taken care of. Again, this is a sort of a ship that's its clientele is of the more upper crusts generally. As you're coming down the docks and approaching, the sort of first mate is there, ushering in like a couple more of the guests. No one looks particularly noteworthy or anyone you recognize. Surely some people have boarded already. And also, coming off the quay, like going down into the cargo hold, there's like a small herd of pigs, like sort of squealing and squirming and moving around, making all sorts of noise, like in the background, as they're being led into the lower bounds of the ship. The first mate is there waiting for you. He's very sort of well pressed and shaved and very sort of clean and sort of sturdy looking. He has a saber at his belt, like it looks like a naval pattern, and he greets you. His name is Stefan, and he sort of as you hand over your tickets, he looks at them and he says, "Oh, you're with the society."
Yes, indeed.
Well, go on.
Okay. Do you know us? Do you know about the society?
I knew to expect you. The captain will be inviting you this evening to dine in her stateroom with some of the other notables on board. I think she's very much looking forward to meeting you and seeing that there are no other troubles on our journey.
Of course not. So, thanks for the invite. Where are our rooms?
Yep. So yeah, unless you have anything else directly to ask him, he sort of directs you to board, that they'll be leaving soon. Go ahead.
I'll ask him what troubles he's been referring to.
Oh, okay.
Don't steer
So-
the hive, but
Yeah, he nods at you, Selma, and he kind of like comes a little closer, and he says, "You were hired to look into the strange happenings, right, aboard the ship."
Yes, I'd like to know your first-hand experience with these strange happenings.
I see. Make a manipulation roll.
Ooh, okay.
Hmm.
So that is a total of 6 dice. Dice roll. Damn it. I will push it.
Okay.
Ah!
Okay. He says, my personal experiences really don't come to bear here. I've had very little trouble myself. Now, please, if you don't mind, your cabin is on the first deck. It's a very luxurious cabin on the port side, toward the bow. You'll have no trouble finding it, and there will be a steward to assist you. I hope you enjoy your journey.
Thank you very much. And I walk in my cane. Clunk.
How does he respond, like react to the dog coming on board?
He's fine with it.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to react to it at all. Selma, what condition did you take?
I took angry. I am angry at this, at this first mate. I am angry at Stefan for making my job harder than it already has to be.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
I'm tired of dealing with spirits, and now I have to deal with humans who don't want to collaborate on the very thing we were hired to do.
Yes. And Amadeo is angry too, so he's probably really clicking his stick. Okay. Excellent. So you're invited aboard, and there are stairs in front of the sort of in front of the piloting bridge that I mentioned previously that lead down to the first deck, where your quarters are. I'm just grabbing my map. So as you head down, actually, sorry. So heading down to the first deck, as you go down to the first deck, what you enter into is a sort of a very wide open space with like these beautiful windows along both like the port and starboard sides, letting in a lot of light. It's cleared of any sort of furniture. It's this beautiful sort of very well polished like hardwood floor. This is clearly like a central ballroom and like gathering spot that's sort of on the immediate as you come down from the outside. And then there's another set of stairs which leads down to the passenger the passenger cabin's deck. That's going to be where your quarters are. However, you do take notice that on one end of this ballroom is the captain's stateroom. That's toward the stern. And then toward the bow side, you can see that there's a library and what looks to be like a saloon type bar type place. And those are both going toward the bow. But to get to your quarters, you head down to the next deck as directed by the stewards. And so at each level as you go down, there's a steward to sort of direct exactly where you're going. Again, very well pressed in sort of, white uniform.
I want to be, I don't know if people seem to be looking at us, especially. Mainly the crew. Maybe they don't know.
Yeah, right now, like the crew is sort of watching you as you're coming down. Like they basically want to get everyone sort of in their places before letting you wander about the place, because they're trying to leave deck. But what did you have in mind?
No, I was thinking if they are looking at us with suspicion because we are the society and we are here to do something, but maybe maybe only the first mate knows.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't get the sense that the stewards have any particular idea of who you are or why you're here. They're just treating you like everyone else, and they're just trying to order you around down to where you need to be. So if you continue along, you go down to the second deck, which is the passenger cabins, and sort of your cabin is all the way again to the port on the left side of the ship toward the bow. And so it's actually one of the fancier ones. So as soon as you come inside, like you have your keys for the door. And
for 4 people, so we are all sharing.
Yes, but this is like quite a large cabin. Like it has separate rooms, there are couches, There are a couple beds inside like this adjoining part of the cabin. You have your own windows along on the left, and you're not on the sort of mid side of the ship that would have the wheel going, so it's very nice. So yeah, it's very nicely kept. There's like a sort of drinks cabinet off to one side with very nice glassware and porcelain.
Mini bar.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's not stocked.
Oh.
But they just assume you brought your own, or you go to the bar upstairs.
Yeah. Yelma just pulls out one of his bottles and it's like, always have it. I always have something handy.
Yeah.
I will not let you drink alone, Hjalmar. Come here. Let's have one. This is a nice room. Let's enjoy it.
Selma reaches out for her liquors but finds binoculars instead.
Actually, Amadeo.
It becomes more angry.
Yes, it's like, damn it, it's right, I didn't buy those.
I have to say that I was not expecting this luxury. I was expecting something more mundane, but this is quite nice. I think we can enjoy this mystery quite a lot.
Either the captain is very generous or she wants to keep us in her good graces.
I told you, maybe she wants us to lie and to say, just to keep the crew in check.
Stay on a nice boat trip?
Yeah, why not? Let's drink to that.
Well, I mean to enjoy it, and I actually find one of the bar glasses and I pour up a little bit of whiskey that I have with me and I give some to Amadeo. It's like, do a successful investigation. And they
You
have
find
a little bit of
when you pour the amount for Amadeo, when you kind of look up, you see Sven there standing kind of expectantly nearby as well. But not saying anything.
Might as well. And I pour another glass for you.
Good job.
You know what's gonna happen, right? Selma, poor Selma.
Oh, I didn't think ladies liked whiskey, and I pour another one for you.
Thank you very much. So Selma will sit down at the bar with her recently acquired drink and kind of lean back towards it and say, so what exactly is our objective here? Like, I'd like to maybe get us all on the same page. What are we trying to do?
I would say enjoy the afternoon until dinner and see what exactly the captain expects of us.
My plan, as of now, is to look at the crew a little bit and to look at the people on this boat and see what they are like. So I was thinking about after taking this drink, we'd go to the salon and have a little bit of a chat with the local.
And a second drink?
Yeah.
I get that as a plan, but what I'm asking is, what is our final objective here? Are we trying to uncover the truth? Are we trying to, become friends with this captain and validate her theory that nothing strange is happening here?
Yelma leans forward from this fancy leather couch he sits in, and he's like, I see no problem in doing both, Selma. We'll just see what happens. Just try to enjoy yourself for the moment. It's been a long time since I was in a room this nice. And he takes another sip.
Here's to that.
What do you think about me disguising myself as a servant?
You as a servant? I don't believe
I think we all laugh together in unison at this point.
I realize that doing such a thing would appear to be far beneath my station, but I can absolutely pull it off. I'm very skilled.
I'm more confident that you would be able to give a perfect impersonation of a German aristocrat, maybe von Findelberg or something like that.
You want to speak to the crew and find something out. If I disguise myself as one of the common people, then we're bound to get that information much, much quicker.
Yeah, go to the furnaces. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy that.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Sven rolls to disguise himself. Oh, take a -3 penalty. No.
Selma's going to test Sven by treating him as a lowly servant and ask him, like, very meanly to fill up her drink. How does Sven react to this?
Oh, I see. I'm not in disguise yet, Selma. I'll hand it back to
Okay.
you.
Okay, so I just say this, Sven. Could you say hello? I would like to have a talk with you, but in commoner speak. Come on, do a bit of slang for me, would you?
Hello, mate. It would help.
Hello, fella.
Hello, mate. How would you like to have a beverage with me and talk about this this captain of ours? What say you, chap?
Hello, fellow sailors. Comes up in this ridiculous Captain Haddock sweater, and he's like, "Oh, hello." No, anyway, let's stop messing about with Sven. He can do what he wants. He's an adult.
The ship starts
You're all
pulling
kind of
away out of
laughing, and
port.
I'm kind of winking at you, because I have fallen on hard times, and I think I probably wouldn't be able to be a passable sailor, but yeah, not quite as
You did
aristocratic as I'd
include-
like to think I am.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say you did include sailor elements in your costume kit. So.
Yeah, but that's just clothes.
Oh, I know.
Sailor
Anyway.
elements.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
instead of
shall
passing
we-
myself off as a servant, but yeah. Anyway,
Anyhow, shall we go to the bar then?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm finished mocking you. Let's go to the bar and see what the guests are like.
Let's.
So, and so while you've been having this conversation, the ship has started pulling away from the dock, and it seems to be underway, and that you would probably be free to do exactly that. Here's the thing. I think this is fantastic. If one of you wants to sort of spend like the liquor that you had, you can count this as sort of like as a. Actually, you don't even have to do that. I mean, this is sort of like relaxation scene. So Salma and Amadeo, you can lose your angry condition. You sort of had this.
I can use it. It's fine.
And Sven gains the angry condition from.
Yeah.
So
He's an angry drunk.
I just erase it now from my.
Yeah. Just uncheck angry.
Yeah. Perfect.
You both can do that. This is sort of like a rest and relaxation moment. Excellent. So are you all going to the bar, or are you splitting up to do different things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to the bar at least. And
Hello.
before doing so, because I was wearing this like townsman clothes before, as you would in Stockholm, Yamos switches over to a slightly more casual tweed suit.
Okay.
Because this is a trip, and you need to look comfortable. Though tweed is still classy, so.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And Salma and Sven, are you both going with the others toward the bar, or going to look for other things?
Yeah, no, Selma is going to behave until we've actually spoken to the captain. I have some ideas of things to do, but I'd like to have dinner with the captain before I ruin everything.
Something, Selma, you didn't bring your
Yes.
camera.
Yes, I did, of course.
Maybe this could be a good opportunity to take pictures of the passengers and the crew to, infiltrate.
I like that. Yes, definitely.
I think I'm not going to disguise myself just yet. I think
Okay.
like Selma, I'll want to just get the lay of the land a little bit first.
Okay.
And as a result, they're going to the kind of common drinking area, right?
Yeah.
Um,
There's not really like a common drinking area. There's like the fancy saloon / billiards parlor, and that's it. Like there's also a
Right.
dining area. You
So
haven't
this-
been there yet. but
this
you've
would
been
be
told.
where so that the crew wouldn't really be in this area.
No, the crew. Yeah, unless they're serving, they're not.
Okay, then I would definitely be going along.
Okay.
I was
Um,
hoping very slightly that we were going to pass off as my servant.
You would know that the crew decks are the next decks beneath yours. So that's where the crew quarters
Okay.
would be. Okay.
How many decks are there on the ship? Do we know?
4.
Okay.
And
That includes
I'll
the
just
deck, does
kinda-
it?
Yeah, so I'll give you like the sort of rundown. So there's the main deck, which is the one above you. That's the one with sort of like the amenities, like the captain's stateroom, the ballroom, the library. There's a dining room, and there is a billiard/saloon up there. Now you're on the passenger's deck, which is the second deck, and that has the very nice passengers' cabins, including yours. There's a third deck, which is the crew deck. That's where the sort of galley is. Some like probably the turbines for the wheel is down there, and then beneath that is the cargo deck and where the boiler is, like that.
Okay.
And I'll make a player friendly version of the map for next time.
Okay.
Because I don't imagine we're going to finish this in an hour.
No.
No.
Okay.
But it's very interesting already.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Like the
you
idea.
go up the stairs together. Sama, if you do want to be sort of mingling with the sort of the other passengers, maybe taking pictures in the ballroom or something, like setting up like a little stand, that sounds like something you could do, or you could go anywhere else you wanted to do that. But I'm thinking like the ballroom sounds nice because you have a lot of light. But it's up to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd definitely mingle with the higher class passengers. Take some pictures. Perhaps mention that I'm writing an article about the happy Bothnian, and and everything like that. And in my notes, I already have an article started that's called "The Haunted Bothnian." The title's there already in my notes.
Perfect.
But
And you
I'm not
put
gonna
it
tell.
there
I'm not
so
gonna tell
people
it that.
No, but just leave it there so people see it. Like, oh yeah, write in this article and see how if they look scared or they mention something. Why not? That's a neat trick.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to, while you're taking pictures, be looking for any type of information specifically? You don't have to be. You could just be ingratiating yourself, but or just looking in.
I might very subtly ask these people, these famous, important people, as I take their picture, if they've been on the Bothnian before, if how their experiences have been, how do they like it here? Very very subtle. Any negative comments, or is it just excellent? Because I think it's excellent. I think it's wonderful. It is amazing.
Okay, that sounds really good. We'll use that. So you leave Selma to begin doing this, and we'll get back to Selma and what you find as you're going about this. Sven, Amadeo, and Hjalmar, you continue on toward the saloon and billiards parlor. Going inside, at the billiards table, Sven, you recognize immediately Baron Hermann and Baroness Sarah Gillenbrook. And you know them because they purchased your family's old estate as you had run on hard times.
Sorry,
And-
Herman and
Sarah,
what was the surname again?
Gillenbrook.
Okay.
So you're gonna find a use for that poison now.
In this exact moment, they have not noticed you. Herman is perfecting his billiards skills with his cue, and he's sort of down over the
I'm going
table
to turn smartly on my heel, grab Hjalmar by the shoulder, and say, "Do not mention me to that man at the billiards table." I'm gonna walk straight back to our cabin and get in disguise.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And so as Sarah is sort of like cooing over her, these are both sort of middle-aged people. She's sort of cooing over her husband's excellent trick shot, dear. Sven makes his escape to get disguise. Hjalmar and Amadeo, aside from this middle-aged couple that Sven seems to have reacted to very strongly, There are a few other people in here. They look, yeah, as you would expect, generally well-to-do. Pretty even mix of. Most people here are sort of middle-aged. There are a couple of younger people. There are no children. And of course a very sort of smart-looking bartender, who looks up at you expectantly as you come in. And he's just doing the bartender thing of cleaning glasses.
Yeah, Yelma sits down at the bar and orders. I don't know, what kind of drink would he order? He's gonna go for a drink, not a straight one, and he orders something fancy on the menu. And then he sort of sits down and he chats a little bit. But what he's basically doing is that he's trying to read the room, see what people are like, see what kind of people are here, and how they are interacting with each other, basically observing everything as it happens. Instead of interacting with anyone trying to create a reaction, he's just reading everything as it goes.
Okay, excellent. Amadeo, how about you? What are you up to?
We'll ask also for a fancy drink.
Yeah.
And I will ask the barman. I'm wondering if you guys have doctor's office in this boat.
Oh, well, there is. We do have someone on board who is a nurse. That is required, of course, by the needs of the crew. You don't have to worry about that. Nothing bad ever happens on these voyages. But yes, in the sort of crew decks, there's an infirmary if things were to go bad.
Just to be known that I'm a practitioner of medicine, and if required,
it's very good to have you, Doctor.
Yes. So I'm quite happy to be on this ship, and I just want everyone to enjoy. But so that if the crew or anybody else needs my abilities, I'll be quite happy to attend them, no matter what time.
This is incredibly generous. I don't know what to say. I'll pass on the word. It's beyond my purview, of course, but you should mention it to the ship's steward that we have an attending physician aboard it.
Yeah.
Very
where
fortunate.
can I find that steward?
You can often find those stewards probably in the ballroom looking for questions.
Yeah.
By the stairs. You would have passed them on the way in.
Yes.
Really, no.
My head.
It's fine. Again, we're very glad to have you. I hope you enjoy your drink and the journey. Yes, of course. If there's anything else I could do for you, please let me know.
Not for now. Maybe some peanuts.
Okay. Let's see. I think it'll be interesting to pop back to Sven. I want to see what Sven's up to as he goes through the ballroom. Who are you taking a picture of, Salma, as Sven goes through the ballroom?
Are you want me to describe who I am?
No, sorry.
Okay.
That would be clever. I wish I had thought of that, but that's like next level. That's great. But no, Salma, as Sven's going back toward the cabins, who are you taking a picture of? Just to set the scene for Sven as he's going through.
Perhaps some your typical rich merchant.
Okay, yeah.
Short, stocky, with a big mustache, kind of thing.
Right. Wonderful. I love that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, cool.
And while I'm taking these pictures, I'm definitely trying to make contacts for, my real profession, and not the Vaesen hunting thing. To make some actual money.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, we can definitely work with that. Okay. All right. So yeah, Sven.
Selling myself off as a person. I was the one that wrote that story. That famous story. That one.
Yes. I read that. You wrote that. This is splendid. I'm glad to have you taking my picture. Is this going to go into another of your stories? You said you were writing a story about the ship or something like this?
Yes, the history of the Happy Bothnian.
Yes. I have this isn't my first time on the Happy Bothnian making the passage. Last year, I had taken a similar journey, indeed. And he kind of twirls his mustache. It's the strangest thing, you know. So, you know, as a regular passenger like myself, you notice sometimes other crew members that come along, and well, so here's the thing. Last year is you've heard of the trouble with the previous captain, I'm sure.
I have dreadful suicide.
What if I told you that I had been on that ship that very same night?
I
Indeed.
would be delighted to take anecdotes, please, to tell me everything you know.
So here's the strangest thing. I was on board, and there was. Excuse me for saying it this way. I don't mean to be offensive or denigrating of anyone, but there was some Russians on board. One of them looked like a well-ordered chap, well versed in the ways of the world. But the ones he was with, they're sort of more strange, peasantish, if you will. And
how dreadful!
Exactly. and so I was heading through the corridors the night before the captain, and I heard the strangest noise from their quarters, like strange well, you know, the church over there, they had these strange like hymns and things like that. I imagine that's what it was. It's very out of order. It's to have like your private, I don't know, hymn singing session or something. I couldn't understand anything they were saying. I've never bothered to learn the language. Anyway. Yes, and I've seen these very same ones on the ship here tonight.
Could you point them out to me?
I don't know where they are, and I don't know which cabin they're in. But I had seen them when we were boarding earlier. It's one of them, as I said, a very sort of you could say European dressed man, and then two others seemed a bit strange. They had a fourth one with them, which wasn't with them the last time. He was a young man. He was in a state of drunken disorder, though, I tell you. They basically had to carry him on. But, I mean, I don't mean to be denigrating, but you know the stories of these Russians, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Anyway, it's all very strange and coincidental, wouldn't you say?
It really is. And may I say, you have an amazing ability of observation and memory. It must be the reason why you're so successful.
Of course. Yes, of course. Yes. Well, I'm glad you see it that way. And his name. What is his name? His name is. I didn't give him a name yet. He is. He's Johann.
Okay. I would love to, Johann, after this trip on the Happy Bothnian, perhaps we could arrange for me to write a story on your personal success, on your company.
Oh. Let me have your contacts, of course, please. And so he starts writing out like his little card to give you.
Excellent.
Sven, you head down to get disguised. How do you disguise yourself?
Yeah, I'm thinking about how best to do this, and because of my lingering defect, my stiff body from before, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with an elderly costume, an elderly disguise, and yeah. I'm clean shaven normally, so one of the disguise things I have are various bits of facial hair, and I've got I do have like an elderly mustache, grand mustache. Gray. I put some powder or whatever I need to do into my hair to make it gray as well. And I get out some clothes that are kind of creased and rumpled and not particularly fine, but still respectable. Like a thin jacket to go over my own clothes to just kind of tie everything together, and I'll have a kind of maybe some sort of I don't know the type of headwear that would be worn, but I want to pass myself off as some sort of elderly middle class sort of level in society, right?
Okay.
Not particularly aristocratic or anything like that. So, but not down on my luck or like a working class sort of person. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
And I'll be kind of leaning into like my stiff body to kind of make myself limp a little bit. Just a slight sort of like stiff leg sort of thing as I go back.
And you kind of have an advantage from your defect. Yeah. That's excellent.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So Stom was having this conversation with Johan. Sven had gone down to start getting changed. Hjalmar had been sort of watching the room. The Baron and Baroness seem ready to leave, and that the Baroness says to him, "Well, we really should retire to our quarters. We're going to have a late evening in the captain's stateroom for the dinner, and I would dreadfully like a nap before then." So they start getting up to go. They're going to start heading down to the passengers' deck. Do you react to this in any way, Hjalmar?
There's no one else of like notable in the room, I presume.
No one that seems really to sort of stand out. Though at some point, like as they're getting ready to leave, you see this stout, very happy little merchant man start coming in, like from the other side with his very fancy mustache, and he looks very pleased with himself.
I was actually going to react to them saying that by turning from my chair where I've been drinking and being like, "Oh, you're going to the dinner at the captain's office as well?"
Yeah. So Baron...
sort of looking surprised and happy, of course. Like, of course, there's other people, and he starts chit chatting a little bit,
Okay. Yeah. So Baron Herman taps his wife's arm, like to sort of stop her from going out, and he turns and says, "Yes, we will be there. I to understand you will be there too. I apologize. I don't recognize you."
"Oh, you don't know me? I am Mr. Hjalmar Björkman," and I shake his hand.
Hjalmar Björkman, Mr. Hjalmar. He does not offer his hand to you immediately. He has some sort of in his pockets.
How rude!
But if you sort of extend your hand to him, like he looks a little surprised, and he kind of looks at it for a minute, like consideringly, and then he's like, he kind of does like a little shrug, like, "Oh, I can converse with the common man," and he takes your hand and gives it sort of like a one firm like shake, and he's like, "Well, I look forward to seeing you later. Of course, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Bjorkman. What is your line of work?"
"Oh, I'm a detective."
"A detective? The Baroness." And he turns to the Baroness, who seems very anxious to leave. He's like, "The Baroness is quite a fan of these detective stories. I don't know if you have read such pulpy things, but
I've read a few. The Poe one was all right.
Yes. I'm afraid I have not partook. But I'm sure. Don't you know, dear? Don't you know? And he turns to the Baroness. Amadeo, are you doing anything during this, or?
I think in the meantime I tried to mention the same thing that I mentioned to the barman, to the steward, and I came back.
Okay,
But I was sitting next to Simon.
Yep.
So when he starts chit-chatting, I will also stand up and introduce myself as Dr. Amadeo Sanchez de Ocaña, working at the Uppsala University and Hospital, with
Yes.
private practice, of course, too.
Yes. Well, and you are going to be at the state dinner as well?
As well, we have been invited by the captain personally.
I see. Well, it sounds like we will have fine company, of course. Um, unless you guys have any specific questions, you can sort of chit chat with them for a while. But they seemed.
I will ask actually. So, is this your first time on this marvelous ship?
No, we have made the crossing once before. It was oh wait, when was it, dear? It was 2 years ago, I believe.
2 years ago.
Yes.
How was it? Was it peaceful?
It went fine. It was a different captain, and I look forward to meeting the new one.
Oh, I think you mean Captain Erickson.
Yes, exactly. I imagine he moved on to other things.
You knew him well?
No. Of course, we had met him in the state dinner on that voyage as we were meeting this this young Captain Olivia this time.
I would be happy to hear more about the trip of yours last time. Maybe tonight you can tell us some stories about it.
I would be happy to do so. Of course. Now, if you gentlemen will please excuse us. The Baroness needs her rest, of course.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Can I have arrived just then?
Do you want to have arrived?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just before he's, or just as he's making his excuses to leave. I'd like to kind of appear at, like, just at his side.
Yep. Okay.
Kind of stooped over and looking at him with my hand outstretched, like I want to shake his hand, and clear my throat.
Oh. Hey. I'm sorry. May I help you?
Knut Anderson. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Baron. What was your name?
Gillenbrook. Do I know you from somewhere? Anderson? You seem like you might be familiar.
Gillenbrook. Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Let me take your hand, good sir.
Very well. I'm sorry. Where do I know you from? He offers you his hand.
I'm gonna clap it with my other hand and just squeeze it as hard as I can. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, a pleasure.
Indeed, but you still have me at a disadvantage.
Indeed. Yes.
I-
I'm just gonna be grasping it as hard as I can.
yeah. He looks uncomfortable to say the least, and perplexed as to where he seems to have known you from, if he does at all, and what your importance is.
I'll let go of his hand eventually,
Yes.
without answering
Okay.
his question, of course.
Yes. Well, are you going to be at the state dinner as well, Anderson?
Yes. I must eat to keep hale and hearty. Yes.
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 Of course. A man of your elevated position in society, and experience.
I'll give him a good slap on the shoulder. Very funny.
Yeah. You kind of like
You
moves
young chap,
physically
so
with it.
funny. So funny. I shall see you anon. Yes.
Indeed. This evening, please, on our way, and then so they head out. Okay. So, Salmi, you're having this this time out there in the sort of ballroom. You saw Sven come out. I don't know if you would have recognized Sven as he came out, or if you had known. Probably not. You've probably done a pretty good job. What you do notice is suddenly it begins to rain. Whereas before it had been sunny and sort of beautiful and warm, there hadn't been a cloud in the sky. And then, like, you can hear it on the windows sort of all around you. Like, very quickly the sky starts darkening. And there's like the pitter patter of pretty heavy raindrops kind of like hitting against the windows all around you. And everything sort of starts getting a bit darker, both because it's getting later in the day and now you have this rain that's moved in, seemingly out of nowhere. Yeah, that's where we are. Do you all meet up, or yeah, do you want to proceed?
I'll nudge Hjalmar in the ribs and give him a wink and say, "It's me."
Hjalmar looks at you, and it's like, "Yes, Knut, I know."
I'll look a bit crestfallen at that. Well, I'm gonna be staying in this disguise, I guess, for the duration of this journey. I have history. I have history with the Baron, and his wife.
Yeah, he looks like common people. Yeah, but are you sure you're gonna go to the table to the dinner tonight, like in this disguise?
I don't look common. I look like I'm the same. I look like I'm from the same kind of social class as all of you.
Okay.
So if you want to call yourself common, then you may as well.
Okay.
How rude.
Well, I mean, how are we handling the fact that Sven was invited to this dinner and not
Sven.
this person?
I am sure I might have a talk with the captain. Describe your delicate situation.
What delicate situation. Yeah.
Yes, maybe the way to handle this is to don't describe the delicate situation. Maybe describe it as I have history. That I suspect the Baron potentially, and that we've discovered that he was on the previous journey. He's traveled previously on the ship. And to keep my identity hidden from him, it's necessary for me to go incognito.
What is this nonsense? I mean, I don't understand. What
It's
with this Baron?
I have
anything.
history. I have history with the Baron that would not be good to. It would distract from our purpose for being here.
We could tell the captain that this is how we operate.
Indeed. Yes. I mean, unfortunately, that would tip off the captain that I am a man of disguise, so that I'm capable of changing myself at a whim into something completely different. And I think in this circumstance, it's necessary. Don't worry about the details of how I know the Baron. It's just matters of aristocracy that you cannot be expected to understand.
All right, then I will speak to the captain about our new member of our little society called Knut Andersen, and that'll be it. You can.
So, I found out some stuff about some Russians.
So here's a question. Do you have this conversation in the saloon or in the ballroom?
I would say somewhere private, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you go back to your quarters?
I guess we'd reconvene
That would be the
at our
most-
quarters.
That would be the most private
yeah.
place, but also in the ballroom you could be off to like a side. It's a pretty large room, so it's up.
I think the ballroom makes sense. We don't have to retreat entirely, I guess.
As long as
Let's
we make sure that no one's overhearing this
Yeah.
particularly delicate conversation.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course, go
will
on.
definitely fill them in on everything that Johan has told me. And I
Yeah.
will say that these people are definitely suspicious. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
big coincidence.
Just a question. Speaking of nothing, do they have a sort of guest manifesto so that you can see all the people that are supposed to be on the ship somewhere? I assume the captain.
Yeah.
Probably the captain.
That would be something that you would expect exists.
Or the first mate, maybe. We can
Yeah,
talk with the
I don't think
Stefan.
probably wouldn't be available to us though, unless we asked to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
we're supposed
Or-
to be investigating this thing, so
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
have a look, we probably can
Yeah.
have a look.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just asking.
Yep.
No, but so, I like what you're saying, Helmut. Maybe we can find about these Russians that you mentioned, at least the name.
If there are any people with Russian names on the ship's manifest, we should be able to find it.
Hmm.
Guest list.
I'm going to pass off, I think, as a psychic. And it's going to be completely, fake.
Of course.
But I think we can. I think we can try and bring the captain on side and say that, it's going to be parlor tricks, and it's going to be the purpose for it is to see if there is somebody playing on these superstitions that potentially pretending to commune with the dead captain might show some insight into somebody that's involved, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So that way she's kind of on board, because if she's quite strict and she doesn't really believe in it, she's quite rational about these things. She might get a bit funny about me trying to hold a fake seance, or something along those lines, right? So she probably needs to be tipped off about that as well. I'm just mentioning it to you because you're probably the best person to speak to her about it. If we don't get a chance to talk to pull her to one side. I don't know why I'm thinking you're the leader of this little troop at the moment. Other than you're a professional investigator, so.
Yeah, I mean, saying that we brought along Sven didn't join. We brought along a psychic colleague who is going to provide the service for us this evening. Something like that.
Okay, so you're not actually going to tip her off that that it's not real.
I mean, I could say that it's a fake
Oh,
psychic.
no, let's leave it because that's a good idea actually. The only issue is that Stefan would have seen that I boarded as Sven.
That's a I mean, Amadeo mentions that wouldn't matter. I mean, you could just didn't bother to change your name or bother him. We can talk about it later.
Yeah, but the first mate might be at the dinner, and he might be like, "Who's this person? And where's the guy that you came on board with?"
I'll talk to the captain before the dinner.
So that's why I think it's important that because I didn't come on board in incognito. I've done it since we've come on board. It's going to be important,
true,
I think.
true.
Well, if the captain actually hired us to just calm everyone down and not actually do anything here, the faker we are, the more she'll, like us.
Well, we're saying all this and we don't know the captain yet.
No, we don't.
No.
So
The captain might be. Yes, go ahead.
maybe we could just talk to the captain and see what it's all about, and then we'll decide how we approach it in the moment.
Because I do agree. I mean, Amadeo mentioned that this idea of a fake psychic trying to maybe make a seance tonight, maybe will unsettle people, and it could give us some hints on what's going on.
Oh yes, give us some clues.
Yeah, while Sven does his little dance, could just be checking everyone and how they react to this.
He does a real seance. But it's fake.
That would be horrifying.
I think I've seen a horror film fairly recently where that happens. Anyway, a fake seance actually works in the end, and bad shit
Do you
ensues.
have the medium talent?
I don't. I might take it. I'm kind of doing this with the thought of maybe taking that next time, because I think that could be quite fun. Maybe I'm inadvertently opening doors to things that I don't really probably want to be opening doors to. But yeah. Anyway.
Maybe.
Okay,
Well, okay. So, should we go and talk to the captain?
let's go. Take the camera, Selma.
Always.
So,
I've got my poison, by the way, as well.
Okay. Just like in a
Tempted.
vial, kind of.
Yeah,
tucked away,
it's in a vial tucked into my I've probably got like a what are they called, like these fake pockets, these hidden pockets
Sure.
somewhere, maybe in my sleeve
Okay.
even, so I can kind of wiggle it out fairly easily into my hand.
Okay. So, if you would to ask the steward where the captain is, he would direct you that she would be in the sort of pilot bridge, but you would be busy and best not disturbed, right? But through that, you understand where she is. If you continue on to go see her, you would kind of like go up these stairs. You kind of come up, and where these come out is again like underneath the superstructure where the pilot bridge is kind of like above you. Now it's sort of raining very heavily, so like going out these doors means you're going to immediately kind of get soaked and kind of have to make your way around to the side to sort of access that. So if you're all cool with that, you go outside. The rain is coming down very hard, and it's strange because you realize that this rain is salty. Like it's not fresh water that's falling. Like there's a saltiness to it. Like when it hits your skin, like you can feel like well, I guess it doesn't dry immediately, so maybe you're not immediately aware, but yeah, there's like a strange saltiness to this water that's coming down around you.
Is it necessary for us to go up onto to go out into the rain?
Yeah, so the way I have this set up, like there is a like you come out, you're kind of like underneath the bridge. Like there is like a small sort of like overhang that kind of goes around, so you don't have to get like soaked, but you're kind of aware of the water, right? Like it's this sort of heavy rain that even if you're kind of like in cover, like you're still kind of getting some of it. Yeah, you don't have to go out like get completely.
No, it's fine. I think
inundated.
once I see that we kind of have to, we're gonna get a bit wet. I'm gonna probably go back and grab a blanket from the cabin to hold over me.
Okay.
Because if my disguise gets too wet, I put powder in my hair.
Yeah, it might have some impact on your disguise.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
you're not going to be going directly into the rain, so you're not going to get like
That's fine.
super wet.
I could say that the blanket is,
out.
the blanket is needed for the seance or something as well.
Sure.
I'll think of something.
Okay.
But I'm
Okay,
basically,
so
because I don't have an umbrella, I'm just going to kind of be holding it up over my head.
You're an old man who's a psychic.
Yeah.
They're eccentric. It's fine.
Exactly.
Creaky
Creaky joints.
Yes. Sven, you head off to get the blanket. The others of you are up. You kind of go around the side, and Stefan is there, sort of by the door. That would kind of lead up to the stairs into the pilot's bridge. As you're approaching him, let's have somebody do, and I forget, this has, we have observation, vigilance. I need someone to do a vigilance check.
Oh, is it vigilance? I can roll
Any of you.
vigilance.
I could as well, but yeah, go on.
Okay, vigilance. I hate when I do this. Always the wrong dice rolling chat. That's 6 dice, I believe. No successes.
Do you want to push that roll?
I mean, I don't really see a reason to. It's more or less a passive check, isn't it?
It's more or less passive. I'm giving the option because that's part of the thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that's fine.
It doesn't feel like he would push himself. Like there's nothing to push really. So yeah.
Fair enough. So you head up and you're approaching Stefan. What you do see, Hjalmar, is you think you see someone kind of like off into the rain, like around the other side of the sort of piloting bridge, like behind, like it seems to be just moving away, like sort of beyond where you are, but kind of obscured from view. But there's someone who's like out there in the rain. But you weren't able to sort of Really good
Just a
detail.
very quick question, because might be important.
Mhm.
The Swedish version of the talent, Eagle-Eyed or Hawk-Eyed, has
Ooh.
+2 to Vaksamhet, which is either vigilance or observation.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me.
When you are, well, I guess it could possibly be relevant.
Well, let me.
Is it a
check-
general
check
one
the-
or a private detective one?
It's a private detective.
It's
one.
vigilance.
I-
It's vigilance in the book.
Yeah, it's vigilance.
I'm trying to interpret.
I imagined it would be.
When you gain +2 to vigilance when trying to interpret a situation you are not involved in, so it's generally keeping an eye on things. I would give you that bonus.
Okay, in that case, I will roll 2 more dice.
Yeah, roll 2 more dice. It was high drama.
Well,
Okay.
there we go.
All right. So as I described, you're approaching the first mate, Stefan, and you think you see someone out in the rain, sort of out beyond your line of sight.
I just think I see someone. I don't see like anything about them.
No.
Well, I guess we just continue then. It's just a
Okay.
person.
So
I mean, it doesn't make sense that I would like run into the shadows like, who are you?
maybe you're curious. Maybe you don't go running around. Maybe you just nose around. It doesn't have to be a dramatic thing. But fair enough. You approach Stefan, and he turns to us. Can I help you? And he says to you, Amadeo. He's like, the steward told me about what you had said about offering your service to the crew. It's very much appreciated.
You're
Does he-
welcome. I just felt it was the right thing to do, just in case. I mean, I'm a doctor, and I think I'm always happy to help anyone that might need my abilities. That's my vow to keep people safe and sound and healthy.
Of course, of course. What can I do for all of you?
Does he look like he's like? Does the impression he give, like from his demeanor, like he's not going to let us into the captain's quarter?
That sounds like an observation check.
All right.
I mean, he's sort of in your way toward the door. He wants to know why you're here. So yeah, he's not going to let you just walk in. You don't need to make a check for that.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna immediately approach him, saying, "Stefan, it's so good we found you. There's a mess in the ballroom. Someone just dropped the bowl of punch, and it's just everywhere. And one of the guests fell over, and no one's taking charge of the situation. You need to get there right now." No.
Roll your manipulation.
I get a +2 because I have the deceptive talent.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Okay, cool.
So that is 8 dice. Woo.
All right.
Oh my god!
You guys are rolling amazing.
I am going to push that.
Okay.
Stefan makes me angry.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Ass.
Oh my
Constant annoyance.
god. 1 second. Hold on. Now I need to look up because they're like stunts, right? Or the what can you get for just completely blowing away a manipulation check?
That was a magnificent success.
That was a magnificent success. What are the skills here?
I make a bowl fall, and my lie becomes true.
Yeah. Okay.
That could actually be a really good thing. That like you succeed so well that you can backtrack and make the situation that you're lying about happen.
Okay. So one thing you could actually do, you can use them to impose mental conditions on your opponent.
He's stressed out.
that seems very, very cruel, but we could work with it. Or it could just be that you impress everyone around you and you have some other advantage in dealing with Stefan in the future. I leave that up to you.
Stress him out. Come on.
I want to stress him out in the sense that when he gets there and the bowl's not there, the first thing he thinks isn't, "Oh, I've been lied to." I want
Okay.
him to think the first thing that he thinks is, wait, where's the bowl? Where's the
Exactly.
steward?
Yeah. He's like
Did you-
going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, like, did you clean this up without telling me? You didn't tell me
Exactly.
someone fell down.
Yes, perfect. That is wonderful. That's exactly what happened. So Stefan goes rushing off to find the bottom of this bowl mystery when he gets down there and starts searching around. But we'll come back to that. Awesome. Okay, so Stefan goes. You have the doors there. Sven, you're coming up. You have your blanket. You see the first mate coming, running down the stairs. Looking around in a complete state of panic, because things are not going well, and he starts shouting at the steward about some missing bowl of punch and a mess which cannot be found. Sven, you see, as you're there, before you meet up with the others, before you ascend the stairs, you see this sort of mentioned, very finely dressed Russian man.
Okay.
Heading toward the stairs to go down. He's leaving the library, and he looks sort of he looks kind of put off by the state of emotion that the first mate is showing, and the sort of yelling, and he's sort of very put off by it. But he's keeping he has a very sort of reserved tone to him, right? So he sort of notes it, he kind of scowls, and he's heading down. So he's wearing...
What's his age, roughly?
Yeah, again, he's maybe in his 40s,
Okay.
maybe
All right.
50s. He has... he's a bit curly. He has like this very sort of dark, like thick, kind of like oily looking hair, actually, that he's not wearing a hat or anything. He has kind of like a full head of it. The main indication of his age is like sort of lines on his face and his eyes, that sort of thing. He's a very sort of he's quite heavy set, of like a sort of average height, and he's dressed in sort of like a way that you would associate with like a country gentleman, and he is heading downstairs.
I'm gonna shadow him.
Okay. All right. In that case, we'll put that down to stealth and vigilance, whether or not you are shadowing him very effectively. To not raise suspicion.
All right.
I'm going to say that.
One success from me.
Success. Excellent. Okay. So, as the first mate is yelling and shouting, and trying to figure out what exactly is going on with the mess in the ballroom that is inexplicably unfound, you start heading down to follow this man. He goes down into the passengers' quarters where you had just come from. He heads down to the other side of the hall. He's going down toward the stern of the ship. He hasn't noticed you. So, and the lights down here, I don't think I described, like these are sort of, 19th century, like sort of lamps that sort of hang. So it's kind of like a very dim light. It's kind of easy to stay in shadows, more or less. And now this sort of the rain and the wind, like the ship is shaking a little bit, right? So you have the effect of like these lights kind of shaking as they're all hanging on these beautiful brass hooks going down the length of the corridor. You follow him down, and he's actually going into a room which is kind of like on the exact opposite side of this deck from where yours was. He takes a key from his jacket pocket, opens the door, goes inside into his quarters.
I want to go up to kind of creep up to the door. Are there any other doors nearby for any other kind of communal areas, or are these all like birthing
Yeah,
There-
these
there
are
he
all
is.
passenger berths. Yeah, so there's so you're kind of like on the far end now at the stern, and so there are two sort of suites, kind of like the suites that you guys have, but on the bow. So there are two of these on either side. He went into the one that's currently on your right, which is on the port side of the ship, which is the same side that your berth is, only again the opposite
So
end.
is this is like a corridor going down the middle of the ship then? Yeah.
Exactly.
What's beyond that? Like these are the. I'm imagining these are the last two
Yes.
doors.
That's right.
Does the
You're at
corridor
end of the corridor.
continue along past them, or does it end at these two?
No, it ends. I mean, and again, there are other doors around you, but they're to other berths.
I'm gonna quickly just press my ear to the door.
Okay. So
I don't plan on necessarily staying very very long. I just want to see if I can, just a very quick eavesdrop.
Okay. So you press your ear to the door. There are two men inside. They're speaking in sort of hushed tones, in Russian.
Okay.
Which
As soon as I realize they're not speaking Swedish or English or any language I potentially know, I don't think I would know Russian necessarily.
no,
I don't think.
think so.
I think it'd be a stretch for me to claim that I would. So yeah, I'm just gonna basically then kind of go away again. I don't think I necessarily knew this person was Russian because I think Selma didn't share that information with me necessarily. Oh no, you did. You did say.
I'm going to point out one thing to you, Sven. There's one character here that was born in the Russian Empire, so you might want to talk to him.
So what I will say, Sven, though, you are listening at this door and not even being able to speak Russian. You hear them speak Russian. They do say a word though, which does not sound Russian, and it sounds sort of Nordic, which is Glorning. I will.
Glorning, with an L.
I'm going to write it with a G-O, like
Gorning.
this.
Okay. Gorning. Yeah.
And this seems to be something they're talking about. They mention it a couple times. And you can tell like they have, even within the Russian, like one of them is sort of kind of speaking more articulately. You imagine it's the sort of one that you had followed down. And you also hear on the other side of the door before you leave, I think this is where we're going to end the session, is you hear another voice, but this one is muffled, like as though there's something over their mouth. So there's someone inside.
And I can't tell what they're saying. I can just hear that it's a muffled voice.
No, they're just sort of like, but they sound distressed. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think that's where we're going to end for now. That seems like a good enough cliffhanger.
very nice.
Very cool.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun.
I'm loving the setup on this one. This is really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love a classic boat-based
Oh, yeah.
mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
a good thing we went for the boat, as indicated.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, ship, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
It's giving me strong Death on the Nile, but it's Death on the Baltic Sea vibes.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, this was
Excellent.
awesome.
Awesome. Cool.
Right.
Very cool.
Thank you very much.
Nice introduction.
I
Yeah,
look
yeah.
forward to picking up with this next month and seeing what happens and
Yeah.
seeing just how freaked out the first mate is going to be in future scenes because of this.
What I'm wondering is how much he's gonna hate Selma afterwards. That's what-
No,
I-
he won't.
I'm planning on gaslighting him completely. If he does ever find out that it wasn't there, I'll be like, what bowl are you talking about, Stefan?
Yeah, I mean, 4 successes. Like he is convinced that there's a conspiracy against him. It's probably related to this whole ghost nonsense, and he's going to get to the bottom of it.
If you want to really screw with him, you should like pick out a bottle of wine or something and then pour some of it on the floor somewhere on the and then he finds it and he's like, ah, there it is.
Cool.
I knew it. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for playing. This was great.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
No, it's good. So for everyone watching, we're going to be running this again in November. Roughly, it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks time. Not 100% sure yet on the date. And then we'll be taking a break in December and coming back in January. So, yeah, if you want to tune in next time to catch it, just keep an eye on our social media. We'll try and get a link up onto this page as well, so there should be visible somewhere when the next one is going to be going live. So you can, I think you can subscribe to get updates for that. So when it does go live, you get like a ping on whatever. Yeah, if you haven't already, if you could subscribe and hit the like button, that really helps the channel. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.